And you know, we mentioned several times the fact that companies were attacked, financial organizations and others. I think that we have, and it's not in this session, but I think that we have to rethink the level of the level that we blame the victims in the cyber arena. We tend usually, and you cannot find it in other disciplines or areas, that the organization that was attacked is the only one to be blamed on this attack, and other relevant technologies, vendors are not part of this discussion. This is something that we can understand why it is easy to do so, but I think that as a society, we have to find a way how to better balance between these things. It's just a thought between these great discussions that we have here this morning. And I would like, before inviting our next speaker, you know, this is not easy to go here on this stage without a PowerPoint presentation. Only the real brave speakers do this thing, and our next speaker is going to do that and to talk with you without a presentation. And it's my pleasure to invite you to the stage Latha Reddy, the co-chair of Global Commission on the Stability of Cyberspace. Please.
As you heard, I'm going to be very brave. I have no presentation, but I have ideas I want to share with all of you. I'm delighted to be able to speak to you all today on the subject of shaking up defense strategies. My name is Latha Reddy. I'm a former Indian diplomat and the former Deputy National Security Advisor of India. I currently describe myself as a warrior for cyber peace and work largely in the area of internet governance, the formulation of norms for cyberspace and the internet, cyber policies, and international cooperation. I'm also the co-chair of the Global Commission on the Stability of Cyberspace. The first questions that struck me when I was deciding what to say to you all today were, firstly, what are the potential targets we are defending? Who are the people and institutions we are defending? Which specific threats are we building defenses against? I was asked to speak from India's point of view. From India's point of view, I see the need to build a multi-layered cyber defense strategy and process. Firstly, and most importantly, we need to protect our most sensitive critical information infrastructures, or CIIs as I'll now call them to save time, those that are needed to operate our actual kinetic defense mechanisms and equipment, our nuclear plants, our satellites, and our outer space operations. Secondly, we see the need to defend and protect the next layer of sensitive sectors in critical information infrastructure, such as our confidential and classified information storage and communications networks, as well as the specific sectors which we have identified as essential to protect for our economy and nation to function normally. Among others, these would include the financial systems, the entire energy sector, including our refineries, our power plants, our power grids, our transport sectors, including aviation, road and rail transport, as well as our ports and our coastal security systems. In addition, I would list our water resources, our health systems, particularly our hospitals and our medical data, our food distribution systems, disaster management systems, and the CIIs linked to our essential industries such as steel, cement, coal, pharmaceuticals, as well as our high-tech sectors such as information technology and ITES or enabled services through IT, biotechnology. Finally, our electoral systems, our electronic voting machines, our digitally maintained voter list systems, so essential if democracy is to be cherished and preserved. In addition to these first and second layers that I've described, every country, including India, has to protect its citizens. This is a tall order. India is a unique country. We have the second largest digitally connected population in the world, estimated at 400 to 500 million, second only to China, and yet we also are the country with the largest number of the digitally excluded and unconnected population in the world, estimated at 700 to 800 million in the latter category. There has been a huge push in India in recent years to bring more of the population into the digital world. The program known as Digital India seeks to empower the weakest sections of Indian society and to deliver all social welfare benefits digitally to the recipients. However, this is a staggering task in a country of 1.3 billion people, of whom 30% or so need social welfare support, being below the poverty line. If we simply digitize this population, which is also largely illiterate, we need to also spread basic cyber literacy and education, cyber hygiene, and an awareness of cyber risks among these newcomers to our cyber world. To add to this complexity, we need to use all our 22 official languages in this endeavor. So, how should India build a new and appropriate national cyber defense structure which fulfills all these requirements? Some important steps have been taken. We were only the third country in the world to publish a national cybersecurity policy in 2012. We do have some basic legislation to address cybersecurity concerns. We have an Information Technology Act of 2000, which was duly amended in 2008 and 2009. And based on this act, we passed the information technology rules in 2011. Right now, there's data protection legislation under discussion, with the high-level Justice Sri Krishna Committee report about to be released, on whose recommendation the new Data Protection Act of India will be drafted and enacted in Parliament. With measures such as Europe's GDPR, India needs to respond globally to regulatory frameworks and challenges. 95% of India's GDP, 9.5%, comes from IT and IT-enabled services. Revenues from IT and business processing management stand at $150 billion US, with 70% of this in the export sector. In concrete terms of cyber defense mechanisms, India has put in place the National Center for Critical Information Infrastructure Protection, or the NCIIPC, and notified several sectors as CII sectors. A national cybersecurity coordinator and his officers work from our Prime Minister's office in the National Security Council. An architecture has been put in place for clear allocation of specific responsibility for cyber defenses between the various ministries, departments, and agencies in the Government of India. Various joint working groups, task forces, and other frameworks have been established to encourage PPP models, or public-private partnership models, in building effective cyber defense mechanism, and the essential role of the private sector, which the private sector has to play in this, has been clearly identified. I had the privilege of co-chairing the first such joint working group between industry and government in 2011. Similarly, academic institutions and think tanks engage regularly with the government in this exercise. The other normal cyber defense mechanisms have been strengthened, such as the national and sectoral CERTs, or Computer Emergency Response Teams. The IT Industry Association, NASSCOM, has established the Data Security Corporation of India, or the DSCI, and industry is helping to establish cyber forensic facilities and to train and equip cyber police centers. But huge challenges still remain. Capacity building in cybersecurity services is an enormous task. Totally, the national requirement for cybersecurity professionals, both for the critical information infrastructure sectors, government agencies, as well as for industry, is estimated to be between 500,000 to 1 million individuals in India. Obviously, the present availability of trained cybersecurity personnel in India is far below that. So this is your chance, gentlemen, ladies, to go to India and offer your services as cybersecurity professionals. Some leapfrogging methods could be used within India to accelerate the process of putting this large workforce into place. We could supply additional or supplementary cybersecurity training to the vast army of computer and software experts whom we do have in India. And some of the existing IT workforces could also be retrained for some basic cybersecurity skills. Even so, this will be a Herculean task to create this workforce. The new regulations calling for all listed companies to have CISOs and chief technology officers, and for company boards to set up IT committees will only increase this demand. At present, India's systems, even for some CII sectors, are hybrid systems with both manual and digital storage run by both the government and by the private sector. The operating systems are equally hybrid, so are the security systems. As we progress further into the digital age, the cyber risks will increase exponentially. International cooperation has been increasingly recognized as essential in the creation of new cyber defense strategies. The CERT-to-CERT cooperation, exchange of best practices, MLAT procedure streamlining are important components of such international cooperation. India has signed several government-to-government agreements on cybersecurity cooperation, including with Israel in January 2018 during the Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit. An India-US cyber cooperation agreement has also been finalized, as have similar arrangements with Singapore and many European countries. Strategic cyber partnerships are now seen as the cornerstone of any strategic relationship. I would end by reiterating my belief that in the borderless world of cyberspace, our greatest challenges still lie ahead. With the development of artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and the new disruptive technologies, the need for better international standards, regulatory practices, and cooperation will only increase. We know that technology will always move faster than the speed at which policies can be developed. But I truly believe that we need to globally evolve and adopt norms and policies to keep our cyber world safe. Conflict between states will take new forms, largely due to cyber capabilities. Offensive cyber operations will undermine the peaceful uses of cyberspace, which can be used to boost economic growth and individual freedom. We are all exploiting cyberspace, and few of us want to take the responsibility for it. We need policy coherence related to the security and stability of cyberspace to apply equally to state and non-state actors. Without this amazing technology can become a fearful threat rather than a marvelous an enabling promise for our future. My final words are that cyber peace, or at least cyber cooperation, will finally be our best cyber defense. Thank you all for your attention and your patient hearing. Thank you.